Still getting set up here, so pardon me as I'm fiddling. You know, last couple times I've done this, I had it in landscape mode. So I'm going to try vertical, see if that looks better. And if you're watching, you can let me know in the comments what you think of the different modes. So I'm just going to flip this around. Does that work? We're not upside down, are we? If we're upside down, please let me know in the comments. Hey! Okay. I think we're upside down. Rotate view. All right, we're gonna go like that. Fantastic. Whew, what do we got today? Well, let me show you what we're working on. Tomorrow's menu for an in-home cooking class: Mediterranean salad, goat cheese fondue, ribeye, mashed potatoes, creme cataline, which is like a creme brulee, but a lot easier to make. And then we're going to be doing a ribeye sous vide. I got a sous vide right here, a sous vide pump. And we're going to do that with horseradish cream. So I got horseradish, mayo mustard, got Kalamata olives for my Mediterranean salad, lots of garlic for the ribeye, and other ingredients include tarragon, lemons, apples, potatoes, which we'll peel and chop. Tomorrow, Idaho potatoes, mashed potatoes, of course. Let me pull out my ribeye here. Now, what I do is I go to Restaurant Depot, and I buy those suckers right there. Get an apron on. And I'm not going to bring this whole thing because this is only for 12 people tomorrow. Well, only 12 people is a lot. I think so. 12 people is actually a pretty big group. Got my boning knife, got my scimitar, and so what we'll do is, the way I estimate this is if we're doing like an English cut, which would be thin slices. So 1, 2, actually I gotta do it kind of this way. Working from this end, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But I bring half the ribeye to be safe. The other half I'll freeze and I'll save for future events. If I have a half a ribeye in my freezer and I have another similar event come up, I can offer that. Particularly if they have something like Signature Kitchen Sweets or Monogram. Cafe as well. These all have sous vide integrated into the ranges. I'm going to open this over my sink, which is behind me. Oh yeah, that's a big point. Oh. These all have sous vide integrated in various ways. So if somebody has that ability, I like to take advantage of that when we're doing in-home cooking classes, so I can show them a few tricks. Trash bag. I reuse every King Super trash bag I get. I reuse for something, typically trash. Okay, so see this here, this flap. Let me just cut that off. It's not really usable meat. This stuff here, I don't like the sinewy stuff. Now, I've got some videos where I do some butchery. In fact, my most viewed video with over 80,000 views. It's about 5 years old. It's me butchering a strip loin. And in the comments, some people mentioned I'm doing a lot of whittling. Whittling being cutting, making lots of cuts to do the same thing. I'm just going to break that down a little bit. And that's just kind of my style. You know, I never worked as a butcher commercially. No one really ever taught me. Kind of like one day I found myself as the executive chef and a bunch of meat came in and, hey, chef, go cut the meat. Okay. Well, trial and error. Problem with butchering is that the error, when you make a mistake, it gets very expensive very quickly. Which is why usually it's the chef doing all the meat cutting in a restaurant, because they're less liable to make a mistake. It's their food cost. So the young culinarian, you don't get a lot of opportunities. Beyond that, you could work in a commercial butchery. Here in Denver, we have Lombardi Meats, for example. I used to order from them. They're friends of mine. Never really had a desire to work in a commercial butchery place. That's more artisan style steaks. You could work in a big processing yard like we have up in Greeley. I have a friend who lived in rural Texas and worked at a chicken processing. 8 hours a day, cutting chickens down an assembly line. That's hard work. Standing in refrigerated, 30-degree refrigerated, wet, cold. No, thank you. It's not particularly high-paying work either. Okay. Because I'm going to sous vide this, it's going to be extremely tender. It's tender already. I'm going to take quite a bit of the fat off. Okay, so back to whittling. So see how I make a cut in one direction and a cut in the other? That's how I do it. And I'll tell you, some of the response to this style of butchery in the comments on my video is that I'm doing a lot of whittling, a lot of unnecessary knife motions. And why that might be true if your job is to be a commercial butcher and every single knife stroke costs you money. There's a formula for that. If you're cutting, let's say, a New York strip steak, they have figured out that should take 6 swipes of the knife. So if it takes 7 swipes of the knife times thousands and thousands of steaks, it really could add up. But, I'm cutting steaks for just a couple of people, and I'm not doing it every day. If I can find processed meat, I buy it. But it's considerably cheaper to buy it whole and cut it myself, even accounting for this waste. I had somebody say to me in the comments as well, oh, I let the butcher absorb the cost of this. You pay for that. So the way they do that is they weigh the entire thing, the entire package of what they buy. So if it's full of blood and water, that entire weight, then they butcher it, and then they weigh the finished product, and they divide those two numbers, and that's how much it costs per pound. So you're not getting anything for free. If that were true, then, quite frankly, couldn't stay in business. Now, I need to ask myself a question here. Do I want to leave this fat cap? This would be facing the guest. I don't think so. I'm going to cut that off. Normally, I would leave that on for steaks. You can see it looks like a lot of meat, but I gotta tell you, that is probably 80%, 90% fat here. See, that's all fat. Yes, you can melt this down for beef fat. I do that on occasion. It's kind of fun. You can saute in it, you can confit in it. If you added flour to it, you get tallow. Tallow is used to make sculptures in antiquity. You would make tallow sculptures, kind of almost like an ice carving, but it'd be kind of beef fat. They'd have to be refrigerated because they spoil. Yeah, see that? That's gross. Like, just get rid of that. So yeah, somebody out there can do the same job in a third of the knife strokes. Good for them. I butcher like, and I think a home cook would butcher, not a professional. And if you watch those videos, there's 3 of them. There's New York strip steak, nerve end, and then filet. I'm showing you what you as a home cook could expect. Okay. Really happy with that. I always flip this back over, and I usually start on the back side because it's easy to miss this. And what I'm looking for here is anywhere where I have connective tissue that, as this renders, could tighten up. So see how I just made that score right there? And you can actually see the meat stretches and relaxes a little bit. So you want to get rid of anything silver skin, the fascia that holds together the muscle, that surrounds every single muscle. You want to get rid of that. Any little globs of blood. That's okay. This is this feathery fat. This renders very nicely. So feathery fat you can leave on. Now you can see I have a little bit of silver skin here on the front side. This is that silver skin over here where it's silvery. Hence the name. That will tighten up, but that's not enough. I think we're okay. So I'm going to go about half. If I was cutting steaks, I would have left that fat cap on. You only get one chance to do this. So what I like to do is score. If I was cutting steaks, I would score. I would just make some lines with my knife. You can see just in the fat, it's really subtle. But then I count, and you get good at this. You'll be like, well, if I have this much loin, whether it's strip loin or ribeye or fillet, fillet, I know I can get 4 center cuts out at 8 ounces. Strip steak, I know I can get 12 steaks, including nerve end steaks. You just know so you can score, and then after you cut them, I like to go back and trim down to the exact weight. Okay, so we're going to do 12 people. So if I go there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's going to be perfect. And because I'm sous videing, it's not going to tighten up. I'm not going to lose a lot of volume. However, I'm also going to be roasting this a little bit to put some crust on it. So I'm going to go slightly on the heavy side. Beautiful. You can see there, this one's a couple inches shorter. So I'm going to go with the bigger one. The smaller one I'll hang on to. If I have an event for 8 or 10 people, this would be perfect. This is for 10 to 12 people. It's a little on the heavy side. Because I'm not a restaurant, I'm not having to turn a profit on every single scrap, because these are cooking classes our customers earn by being our customer. And so they're complimentary. Tomorrow, I believe, is Viking. Okay. So vacuum pack. Don't be shy on this bag here. I like to cut. Roll that back. Then seal. It's on the seal. Go. I'll seal it. I'm going to seal it twice. So I'll sous vide this for 8 hours or so. I'll bring this home with me along with my sous vide pump, which is right here. And in the morning when I get up, start drinking coffee, I'll go ahead and start sous videing that. And my event's at 5 o'clock, arrival, probably be by 6:37. Fold this over itself. You don't want to get the end where you're going to seal it wet at all. And you're better off having 3 or 4 inches extra space than, being really pressed for space. press for space, you never get a really positive seal. Okay. So you can see I got a couple extra inches here, quite a bit actually, but it's less expensive to do it this way than it is to try to cut it right there. You need, watch this, so I set this into the channel and close this, and to get a good positive result, you need 3 or 4 inches of slack there. So this bag probably comes all the way back to here, so you need that extra. So I'm going to hit back and seal. Sealing. I'm going to double seal this side as well. You can get these bags, these food saver bags, at most grocery stores. Here I shop at King Supers. If I go to the one on Federal, they don't have them. So if I go over to Sheridan and 80th, it's a much larger full-scale store, and they do have them. Okay, and then I'm going to double seal this. I'm going to seal it here a little bit more. I like that double seal, and this is a nice, positive seal, got all the air out. And the other thing, if you go to seal it and you don't get a super positive seal, you actually cut the end of the bag off and try it again. If you don't have enough space there, it won't happen. Okay. Hear that beauty. Happy with that. Okay, and then the other one I'm going to throw into a bag, Ziploc, zipper as we call them, as I call them. You know what? I take that back. I am going to seal that. I'm going to seal that. Or am I? Well, I guess I have to. Yeah, I'm going to need more of this. I have a big event next week. I'm going to be doing tenderloins, also sous vide. So I'm going to have to buy more of this. So I'll have to go to the other grocery store. No big deal. Okay. Glad I looked. It's frustrating running out of this stuff. Kind of weird. There we go. There's like a little bit of adhesive. There's a little adhesive right here. Okay, good. Okay, so let me review, and then we'll finish up here. Our ribeye. This is all the fat that I got out of that. So the fat and the stuff I won't be using. So I probably lost a full third, 33% of my total overall weight to a loss. Now I was being pretty aggressive, and I can't admit that. I was being very aggressive on how much I was taking off because I wanted a cleaner look. You know, I've seen some really high-end places. They actually take every single piece of fat off, and they cut this down really very, very small, tight piece of meat. This here, this cap, this spinalis, is that what that's called? So here's the round, and then this piece here. This is the best part. I love that part. So what they started doing here is separating this. So they take this cap off, and they sell this as a premium steak because it's very, very fatty. And then the eye of round, they sell this 2 different ways. They sell it as a ribeye strip loin, which I think has more flavor than regular strip loin, but less fatty, so you cut all this fat out. Or they cut it down the length, and then you have a fillet of ribeye, which all these have fancy names. they also have kind of Latin names as well, which I don't know. Let's face it, I struggle with English. Okay. One more time. This is going into the freezer, so this could come directly out of the freezer and go straight into a sous vide bath from frozen. Add, for a piece of meat this big, you have to add a couple of hours for it to get up to temperature. So if I could normally sous vide it for, let's say, 4 to 6 hours and have a really positive engagement of flavor and development, I might need to go for 10 or 12. Beautiful. Okay. Boning knife, and then my scimitar. This knife is extremely light. It's a Granton, which is, I believe, yeah, Sheffield, England. Made entirely in Sheffield, England. I've had this knife a long time. I bought it because I thought it looked cool, and it does. It does look cool, but I think it was like $8 or something. It was unbelievably affordable. Of a young culinarian working at a country club in Long Island, and the knife truck would come by. Oops! I just wanted to seal, not back to seal. The guy would come by and sharpen knives, and he would sell knives, and he had these, and these were, oh gosh, I think seriously, it might have been $10, maybe $12. Now this is back in '95, so you know, maybe $20 now. Very lightweight. I actually had a long straight slicer as well. I gave to a colleague of mine. He needed a slicer. You know, it's got that hollow ground. The idea being here that it breaks vacuum. It doesn't hold a great edge. It's hard to sharpen because of that. But I use it for cutting bigger steaks. That's about it. So it's kind of cool to have around. But that same opportunity, I had that same knife guy brought by a new kind of knife, straight out of Japan, global knives. You might be familiar with global knives. And global knife, when I was a young culinarian, I was 19, an entire set, a 10-piece global knife set, was $100. So $10 a knife. And I was going to buy it. I had the money. I was going to buy it. Oh, that's sweet. And the chef, he said, don't waste your money. You're not a good enough cook to deserve knives that nice. And he kind of made fun of me. He bought a set, of course, and kind of peer pressure shamed me into not buying these knives. And of course, 2 months later, I was in a mall, walked by Williams Sonoma, and I saw the same knife set, $1,300. So, you know, you win some, you lose some. Anyways, everyone, thanks for tuning in. I don't think I had any viewers, but I will post this up on my channel. It'll be there. If there's things you want to see me do when I'm doing Facebook Live, if you have any requests, let me know. You know where to get a hold of me. Let me know in the comment. This is Chef Mark. This is a Friday, so I hope you have a safe and happy weekend. Thanks for tuning in.